Okay, so you'll have to excuse this slightly low quality. I haven't got all my lights set up or anything, because I'm just cleaning out my snails. Let me get a bit more light on the subject. So these are my adult Achatina fullica, which are also known in my house as the breeding machines, because they are constantly laying eggs. And yeah, I do an egg check every week, but I have a feeling there he is. Din, din, din. I've missed a couple. So I have a small sneaky dude currently crawling up the tank. I did oops. So yeah, I have a tiny baby snail. This one is pretty newly hatched, a couple of days old maximum by the looks of it, certainly no older than a week. And about a week ago I found loads of clutches of eggs, and I've just got rid of another clutch. And if you don't believe that I check regularly for eggs, here's the other clutch of eggs I've just found. And yeah, so I do weekly egg checks, and yeah, so these guys have been busy again. Found the clutches that they've laid recently, because I did catch them mating, but yeah, I've missed one. So there's now a teeny tiny baby, so I'm gonna have to get him out of there. See where you come from, hey? Oh well. And yeah, to let you know, I'm not keeping him, because I already have 16, is it, giant African land snails? So yeah, I can't keep anyone else, and I've already got the babies are starting to outgrow the tank they're in, and I'm waiting for the other tank to come. So yeah, can't keep him, unfortunately. So there won't be any more like baby snail updates on him or anything. But yeah, so I'm gonna have to check twice weekly apparently. So yeah, make sure you check regularly for eggs, otherwise you'll have hundreds of them. If you do get a clutch of eggs and you don't know what to do, or you get some that have hatched, like I've got that one, you know, don't panic. Obviously freeze the eggs, and then for if you've got some babies that you don't want, what you do is you give them some beer, and that knocks them out. The ethanol is like anaesthetic for them, and then you can pop them in the freezer as well. Some people like crush them and stuff, but basically what you can do is just get them drunk on some beer, pop them in a tub and then stick them in the freezer. Or if you've got like a local pet shop, like the one by me, you can take your snails there and say, would you like some free snails, because I can't have these. And depending on how many they have, they'll either take them or they won't. So yeah, it is best to catch it early when they're freshly laid clutch of eggs. And like I said, I mean, I caught the rest of the clutch, I got the rest of the eggs out. I just obviously missed an egg. So yeah, so obviously get them out while they're eggs, so you can just pop them in the freezer. You can crush the eggs as well, because if you catch it early, there's nothing in the eggs. It's literally just goo in there. There's no snail in there. Or obviously, this is part of keeping the snails, because they are going to constantly breed, and before you know it, you'll have hundreds. So it is something you need to be prepared to deal with, and you need to be prepared to dispose of eggs by freezing. You need to freeze for 48 hours, or crush them, and then before you throw them away. you can't dispose of them by putting them in the garden or anything, because they're an invasive species and it's illegal to release them in the UK, as it would be in some other countries. Some other countries it's illegal to have them as pets. We can have them as pets in the UK, but we're not allowed to release them or their eggs into the wild. So even like when one dies, I can't just go and bury it in the garden like I would my other pets, because obviously in case there's any eggs inside. So the only way you could really deal with, if you wanted to bury your snail that's died, would be to freeze it first to make sure all the eggs are dead, if there's any eggs inside, because that's always a possibility. And then bury it in a plant pot in your house or something, so you can monitor it. Obviously it'd be deep and everything, because you don't want smells or anything. But me personally, I tend to just I'll freeze them for 24-48 hours, and then I just put them in the bin. I don't keep the shells from the dead snails, because I'm not prepared to scoop out the dead snail out the shell. I just, no. And obviously I can't bury them in my garden because of obviously the laws on keeping the African land snails. So yeah, it's part of keeping them, I'm afraid. You do have to deal with stuff like this, and you have to be prepared. And if you can't deal with stuff like this, like freezing eggs and things, then, you know, they're not a pet for you really, because it is something you have to deal with. Like I have to do an egg check every week, and not every week, but obviously it's summer at the minute, so obviously it's the main breeding season. Like in the winter it all slows down a bit, but at the minute, while it's nice and warm, my snails are quite keen on reproducing. So yeah, I have to get rid of eggs weekly normally at the moment, but it will set, or every other week. I normally get a clutch of eggs at the minute, but it does settle down later on. Over the winter they don't tend to bother, because obviously eggs wouldn't survive in that time anyway, and their natural processes slow down when it's a bit colder anyway. Although I don't keep mine, I keep mine at room temperature. I keep them above 20 degrees all year round. I just keep the room warm. That's the easiest way. I have got heat mats, but I'm not a fan of leaving the heat mats on. Sorry, I got the stretches. So I tend to keep the room warm, and that does the snails fine. They're nice and active all year round, so. But at least in the winter months, they don't tend to be so keen on doing eggs. Although I did have, last year, I think it was about, when did I have them babies? They were about November laid, weren't they? November, December. Oh, they hatched in December. The babies did. So yeah, they probably were laid in November. So yeah, mine will lay in the winter, but not very often. Not as often as they do in the summer. So yeah, hope you found this video enjoyable to watch, or useful, or, you know, just as a reminder to check for eggs. And yeah, see you next time. Bye for now.